Welcome to Little Malayan. Today I have a fellow Singaporean, Daniel, here to talk about his experience in living in Japan. And Daniel has a data science consulting company, and he analyzes data for companies. And also he will conduct a basic training course to introduce data science in February. So if you are interested in data science, please check out the link in the description below. So, Daniel, so when did you come to Japan?
Well, I came to Japan last year, April.
Okay. So why did you come to Japan?
Yeah, I came to Japan because my wife got relocated back to Japan from Singapore. I met my wife in Singapore, and her company actually relocate her back to Japan, and that's why I decided to go with her.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I guess your wife is a Japanese?
My wife is a Japanese.
Oh, okay. So do you have any kids?
Yeah, I have a kid. It's a 2.5-year-old kid.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So so your wife works in a company in Japan.
Yes.
And so what do you do like here now?
Well, I run a data science consulting firm, and it's incorporated in Osaka. And basically, we deal with data science projects, both on the consulting and the technical work, and also doing trainings for people who are living in Japan on data science, and also to find opportunities between Singaporeans and Japanese data scientists to work together.
Oh, okay. So what made you like start your own company?
Well, I guess to be a company, it's a business-driven kind of thing. So it's very much based on demand. And I see opportunities in Osaka for data science. People have yet to know more about data science in Osaka. I mean, in Tokyo, there are a lot of people who are conversant and also skilled in data science. But I believe in this part of Japan, there could be more opportunities for you to come in to teach and train. Yeah, and I guess, well, Osaka is also a very friendly place. A nice place to live in Kansai region, not just Osaka, but in Kansai region. So I guess there's a certain level of comfort to conduct business here also.
Oh, okay. Okay, so just can you tell us a little about your personal life? Right. So so after living like almost a year here in Japan, like did you experience any culture shock?
Yeah, I mean I experienced quite an interesting culture shock. Yeah, so sometimes let's say for example, if I go to the supermarket and the cashiers are very conscientious of what to say and what to give me, what to do. It's like it's like having a script. It's like having a script.
I see.
But in Singapore, it's quite different because in Singapore, it's like they're pushing you through the production line and just get it done quickly. You want or you don't want, kind of stuff. So I guess I feel not in a bad sense, but it's a very different kind of environment where you got to listen to that part of that steps the cashier is going to say, and then respond accordingly. Right. So that it makes the cashier job easier. So for me to get what I want.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I understand what you mean. Yeah. It's like first they ask you for the point card.
Yeah.
Do you have a point card?
Yes, correct.
And then they will ask you, do you need a plastic bag?
Yes.
And yeah. So after that they ask you about your how you want to pay.
Yeah.
So
I guess so when I first got to Japan. I couldn't understand some part of it. So the cashier was asking about do I want the plastic bag?
Right.
So I couldn't catch that. So I always say but I somehow created some misunderstanding between me and the cashier. And over time, I started to see that the cashier is like getting confused. Is he the Japanese or not Japanese?
Yes, because we look like Japanese.
Yes, correct.
Right.
Yeah. So I guess that part itself was a bit of a learning curve, I would say, because being a foreigner in Japan, one thing about living in Japan is that we must be able and willing to I think that's very important.
Yes, I agree. My mother
Yeah.
comes to visit me sometimes,
Mm.
and she will go shopping by herself.
Yeah.
So it's very hard for her to understand,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
because they ask so many questions, you know.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess that is one. Of course, the part about the train with the women only cabin.
Ah.
Yeah, a few times I went in and I start feeling a bit awkward. Why is everyone like so silent and some of the ladies were looking at me. I didn't know because in Singapore we don't have ladies only cabin. So well, it was quite interesting because when that happened, I could sense people are. I could sense the entire whole cabin was like focusing on me. But although they were not looking at me, but they were focusing on me.
Nobody said anything to you.
Nobody said anything to me.
Okay,
And
but just look at you.
Yes.
You could feel the stares.
Yeah, I can feel the stares. And sometimes, well, it's hard to. For foreigners, we don't know how to react.
Right.
The only thing we can do is we just get out the cabin, and, either go to the next one or get out. That's the natural response. But of course, when I first got into the cabin, there was a shock to me. Yeah.
True. I can understand that.
Yeah.
Yes.
So for guys, make sure you enter the right cabin.
Okay, so talking about trains, I have an episode to share too. So my husband, who is a Japanese, is much older than me, and so he got gray hair. So when he went to Singapore and get onto the subway, so a lot of people will give up the seats to him. But he doesn't want to sit, and he kept telling them, "No, thank you, no, thank you." But still, there are some people who insist that he take a seat. Yeah. But here in Japan, people don't give up their seats so easily.
I guess that's in Singapore, people tend to give up nowadays. Tend to give out seats more often, slightly more often as compared to last time. Slightly more, I guess. Maybe because the government has been trying to educate Singaporeans to be kind, courteous, to give out seats to elderly. I guess in Japan, probably because of being reserved, and to perhaps shy to take actions, being noticed or being kind, kind of scenario. So I guess in that kind of environment, in that scenario, sometimes it could be a bit difficult.
Well, I actually asked some of my students about that, like why few Japanese give up the seats. So they told me that many Japanese, the senior citizens, they don't consider themselves old.
I see.
Yeah, so sometimes when they offer their seats, that person will get offended. Like, I'm not so old.
I see.
Yeah,
I see.
and so some Japanese hesitate because they do not know like whether that person will like it or not.
I see.
So after listening to my students' explanation, I kind of get it. Like because Japanese people basically are very health conscious. They try to walk a lot, eat healthy food, so they kind of like don't consider themselves old.
I see. Well, I guess that is you see, in Singapore, I ever encountered something similar, where the elderly who came in and the younger guy, I think it was a guy, tried to offer the seat, and the elderly person was a bit offended. Yeah, because just as you mentioned, the elderly person doesn't want to feel old.
Yes.
So he was like saying, "Oh no, I don't." He's trying to say, "Oh, I'm not that old, I'm not that elderly, so you can sit." I still remember this. So I believe that happens also in Singapore, but not many, I guess.
Okay. Right. So moving from this, so you also help to take care of your kids, right? And so I heard that it is your job to send your daughter to the childcare. So do you feel any difference between the childcare here and in Singapore?
Okay, so I sent my kid every day to the nursery ever since we got here to Japan. my kid over, I could feel the casual environment. That's for me when I first sent there. And casual as in people are willing to understand what exactly what I expect. Because as a parent sending my kid there, I have my expectations. And also at the same time for me to understand their expectations. Whereas I guess in Singapore, my understanding is that perhaps the expectations is more clear cut. It's like every single thing is on paper, read it, these expectations, so and so forth. But in Japan, more of interpersonal kind of relationship.
Okay, so like there's this kind of personal touch.
Yeah, the personal touch. I mean, in Singapore there's personal touch also, but I guess the focus in Singapore is more on getting the things.
Getting a job done.
Getting a job done. Yeah, that's one way you can say that. So, I guess for that first nursery, that's what I felt. Of course, we move on to a bigger nursery later on, because the first one was a small nursery, and we felt that my kid Lisa could actually run around more rather than staying really a small place. So we sent her to YMCA nursery, and so when I first got there, of course it was more regimental, or more rigid. They have their rules. Quite similar to I guess to what I observed in Singapore. But there is still the personal touch that I felt. So I guess that really warms my heart.
Like what? Like they will ask about the condition of your kid or something?
They will ask the condition of my kid, and also how is the temper, today and the last night. And did she eat vegetables? So they will ask quite a lot of questions.
Okay, so any other episodes?
Well, I guess living in Japan, of course, the language is can be a barrier for people who are not skilled in Japanese language, and not everyone is adaptive to this kind of language learning. I, for myself, I'm not so adaptive to language learning, because I did try learning German before for 3 years, but I still couldn't get it very fluently. So I guess it's the same. I know my limit.
You are not a language person.
Yeah, I'm not really a language person. I wish I'm a language person. And perhaps if I have more Japanese friends, you can't be my friend,
Yeah, right.
You can be my friend, that kind of stuff, and brush up my Japanese language. I guess other than that,
like, did you experience any discrimination here because of the language barrier? Like, you couldn't
Okay, so on the ratio, let's say on the ratio, I would say it's like 1 out of 100.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very. I came across before. I have to be honest. I came across before. Not so much of not so much of discrimination of who I am as a Singaporean. I think it's more like the discrimination on the inability to communicate and adapt to the society. I guess, frankly speaking, in any countries we have these people, right? So we can't expect everyone to be let's say the 1 out of 100 to be the same as the 99. But people are very friendly and warm. Really people are friendly and warm. They are willing to be patient. I guess it's a matter of taking a step forward to show yourself that you are willing to adapt to the society.
Right. Okay. So as a foreigner living here, we should open ourselves more to the Japanese too. So to give and take at the same time.
Yes,
right. Okay, so I guess that's all for now. And if you enjoyed the video, please subscribe. And yes, we may consider making a second video. Who knows?
Yeah.
Okay, bye.
Bye.